I guess is it time?
It's time.
Is it time for your boy? Oh man,
it is time.
Yo, I mean,
before I let out the news I got before we got on that I saw, right? Joe Budden has been in trouble like the last couple weeks because he had a Tahiri thing.
Tahiri first.
He kind of slid under he kind of got away with the Tahiri thing because, everybody said, okay, was she doing this for clout? This is all old information. They were just on Love and Hip Hop together, blah, 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 blah. So he kind of skated off with that. And then he went on his whole rant, calling her toxic and claiming he never hit her, which is clear. He even made a song about it where he mentioned when he broke her ribs. She said he broke her ribs. So, but I guess that kind of skated past people.
Ooh.
So this week, a leaked phone call between Cyn Santana and Joe came out where Joe allegedly doesn't pay his child support like he should. Joe also apparently stalked and chased Cyn and dragged Cyn, according to the phone call. He did not deny anything on this phone call. I'm pretty sure he didn't know he was being recorded. And I think she's probably using that for court at some point. And then there was court documents that came out with even more disturbing behavior, which was pretty much stuff that Tahiri and Stan and Esther Baxter, you just pick her ex-girlfriend, has said about him. But the most strange thing on there was that he jacks off his dog, which was weird. And what made it funny, people pulled up the clip of him talking on the podcast about jacking off his dog. And I actually remember.
No, there's not a clip of that. There's not a clip of that.
It's a clip. I actually remember him saying that. But my thing was, like, everybody else probably thought he's joking. And apparently he's not. So here's...
I'm done.
And then up to, and that's all the information that was out. And then right before I got on, I seen a clip from Andrew Schultz's podcast, and he says he has a super reliable source. And he said at Spotify, the reason why he didn't get the deal at Spotify is because he asked for $250 million.
Yes. That's why they told you to get the fuck out. That makes sense. That makes sense now. They're like, you want how much? Oh, you get the fuck out. Right. We're not paying you that.
Andrew Schultz told on his little clip that I saw, he said once he found that information, everybody needs to just shut up about, because everybody's saying Joe was right and blah, 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 blah. He's looking for a deal like the Ringer has, but the Ringer has like 30 podcasts.
That's one thing that that's what, like, I got mad because, like, in regards to the whole Joe Budden podcast, we'll talk about that for a second because this jacking off his dog shit is way funnier. But I will at least go to this for a second. One thing they said was, I think Charlamagne may have said this, and like again, I think Charlamagne's a big ass troll too. Like, I get it, but he was saying how you can't really negotiate as if you're a network because you produce one podcast. You can have 300 episodes, but how much of that's just being listened to over and over again? A lot is based off what's going on at the time. It's not like it has replay value like that, but you're still one production team making one type of thing. You can't compare yourself to somebody who makes a company that makes 10 podcasts or 5 shows just because you do numbers. Like, that's not how it works. And he tried, and I guess he responded to Charlamagne trying to shut him down and shit. Like, we not having the same fight and we're different. And I'm just like, I mean, in essence, he just said you got to negotiate better. And I think that's fair.
Literally, like maybe 30 episodes ago, he was just arguing with Maul about how you gotta negotiate for the market. Like They was just arguing about that when they were talking about what are those that white girl podcast, whatever that was. They were talking about
Amy Schumer.
how they should negotiate for the market. Like it don't matter what you feel like all that stuff, right? It don't matter what you feel like you work, you just got to negotiate for the market. And then he comes out and do something like that. Like the dude is
he's insane, and that's the thing that like people don't realize. That's why I always was leery of people, because I mean, I know how to separate the person from their work, but I never understood why people actually thought he was really smart. Like I always thought he was a nut job, which
I mean,
clearly he is. So if you sit there talking about your value and you want $250 million for one podcast that you twice a week with no ads, then like
the stuff that was coming out that he like to not do ads, like why would somebody want to continue working with you?
Right.
I mean, most of the revenue is, I mean, the biggest deals anywhere are oftentimes based on ad revenue. What the fuck else am I paying money for?
All you got to do is what Joe Rogan does. Joe Rogan put the ads in the front. You know it's going to be 10 minutes long every time. You skip the first 10 minutes. They get their money. You don't get bothered by the ads. Everybody happy.
Right. He doesn't do that. Like he wants, you know, and this is alleged, but I believe it. He wants $250 million and you don't even want ads. Like you're just trying to just take all the money. What am I getting out of this if I'm Spotify? Because
he wants to get paid to chill in his boy's living room and talk shit for a year for $250 million. That's what he wants.
And one thing I noticed in the podcast when he was going on his rant, he always mentioned his first year numbers. He never mentioned his second year numbers, which to me means his numbers probably dropped. It probably did from the first year. So Spotify is looking at it like, okay, I don't see, we're offering you a lot of money already, and I don't really see an increase in your audience or listeners or viewers. Because the other thing he's failing to mention, he might be number one on Spotify, but that's the only platform he's on. Every other podcast is on multiple platforms. They're not just on Spotify. So it's like, I only got to go to Spotify to hear Joe Budden Podcast. Like,
I guess he technically does YouTube, which I mean, and that's the other thing too. He's making money on YouTube, I'm sure, because those have ads.
But he's asking for like Joe Rogan type money. He doesn't even get Joe Rogan YouTube numbers.
Right. Like, he's not for like the biggest people on YouTube, he's got like, I think 900,000 right now. There's like nobodies in terms of like that don't have his initial platform that have 1 million, 2 million, 7 million, 8 million. And they're probably not getting 250 for that. So I don't know why he would get it. And he's a known entity and still. And again, those people have 100 ads in all their shit. Every 5 minutes you're watching somebody commercial for something, no matter what you want.
He's stuck on this idea that he literally pioneered podcasting, not realizing the shit been here for 10 years, right?
Right.
Like he may have pioneered a specific genre, and let's face it, like this genre isn't something that is something that everybody's going to watch, right? This is hip hop heads that's going to watch this, right? So he's sitting there, he pioneered a whole era of podcasting. He thinks he's the first person to ever do a live show and podcast. Like the dude is delusional. Like he doesn't.
That's real.
That's the biggest thing
out here.
Right. That's the biggest thing that I always think about when it comes to Joe is he's literally delusional. So when you think even with his Complex deal, it's like they said the same thing. He came in there asking for outrageous requests that you're not like, your show ain't that popular. Like people watch it, but it ain't what you think it is. And he's sitting there thinking like, I deserve Oprah money for my show.
Like know the network, know the network, just know the market, know what you really can go ask for. And if you take your pride out of it and you come into it like, all right, reasonably what makes sense, always push for your money. I'm not telling you that, but I hate that it seems like because he's so in his own head, you can't tell him shit. But like I said, normally, when somebody tries me some shit, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, no, like negotiate for what you should negotiate for. And if they don't give it to you, fuck it. find another way, but then don't bitch about it on top of that. Like, they're insane. Well, show your work, nigga. Like, why should you get
right?
Explain that to me.
And that's why you're getting all the conspiracy theories that Spotify put people up to this to leak all the audio and the court documents and everything like that, because one thing he loves doing is burning bridges. So it's like,
about to say that.
Like, he kept saying he wasn't doing, by the way. For the last 2 weeks, he kept saying that I ain't burning no bridges.
Right. You've been disrespecting Spotify for like 2 weeks, like on your show. And then it's like you couldn't just respectfully say, no, I'm going to look elsewhere for another deal. Like, you've been disrespecting them. So I'm not sure with all this conspiracy stuff, but
they probably did leak it, but it don't mean he didn't do it. Stop jacking off your dog. Stop having that shit on paper for somebody to go pull out on you. Like something. You can't talk shit if you know on paper you've been jacking off your dog and somebody knows. You need to shut up and play ball.
He probably doesn't even think that. He probably doesn't even think like that it's on file. Like, and listen.
I would think about this shit every day. Why did I do that?
When you read the document, he describes of why he jacks off his dog because, and in quotes, the dog doesn't have any bitches around.
Yeah.
So,
real quote.
Real quote. Like,
I mean, listen. Is this crazy though? Does he have a point? His dog don't got no chicks. What are you going to do?
What's that got to do with him? What's that got to do with the dog?
I mean,
it's a dog.
I refuse to believe this nigga justified it.
Right.
If you're doing it, you justifying it. Because otherwise, why are you doing it? You have a reason ready to go. If somebody is like, yo, why you doing that? Because, man, what you want me?
When I read it, the first thing I thought of was like, what was he thinking the first time he did it? Like, what would make you like what would make you try that? Like, you know what I mean? What is
if you so for you people that haven't had a dog, they do say okay, I'm trying to be serious. Okay. They do say you have a dog, right? If you don't neuter them, it is an urge that they'll always have. And it's like, so Cesar Millan, he always says, neuter your dog unless you're going to let them stud, because it's an energy they'll never be able to release. and they'll try to like run away, and they smell a dog in heat. They'll try to go find her. So I can understand, like, that's why you get your dog neutered. I mean, I guess he just felt like I didn't want to cut my man balls off, but I want to give him a release. So
why would you feel that's your job?
I mean, you gonna pay somebody to come in there, and then you gotta have a witness to this shit?
I'm not doing it at all. You just have to hit the streets. Find He'll have
to hit this. Now, here's the thing. At the same time, Joe has enough money. He could have just bought a female dog. So, he could have just bought a dog and been like, here you go, bro.
There's so many other options.
There's a lot of other options than what he did. Yes. Joe weird.
If you would do that to a dog, there's other things that you probably would do.
There's other things that you have done. This ain't the first weird thing you done did, Joe. You beating off your dog.
And here's the thing, like, and this is what makes it funny, especially if y'all get a chance, y'all go watch DJ Academic's rant against Maul and Rory. That might have been some of the funniest YouTube TV that I've ever seen in my life. Him coming at Maul and Rory for an hour.
Why don't they like each other? What happened to that anyway? Why? It seems like they don't like. I'm new to the whole podcast beef game. I can see why a lot of niggas don't like Act. Honestly, because he's a troll and he best buddy for 6ix9ine. So I can see a lot of reasons why, but why in particular for this?
I don't know, but it was funny.
Fair enough.
He is not. He was coming at Rory and Maul for a good hour, and like it's just funny. He called them bums for an hour.
That's fair.
How much money they make, how they work for Joe.
That's also fair. These are fair points so far.
How Rory was in a fraternity, and in academics were shimmying like a motherfucker as soon as somebody presses play.
I really wonder how he done brainwashed them, or how do they feel about knowing that if he really did ask for that, like what is the behind the scenes arguments that's going on?
And that's the thing that academics was saying. He said academics was like Joe didn't even let you in the room when he negotiates with them. And
that's foul too. Although I don't think he feels like they're an essential part of the podcast. Like, I don't think he looks at it and thinks, I need you.
And that's what academics was saying. That's why I guess Rory or somebody said something about academics, and academics went on a rant about Rory and Maul and how worthless they are. And he said, and he basically went and Maul said Maul is just some nigga's brother.
I mean, in all honesty, they don't necessarily. I mean, if you watch the podcast, right? There's like 8 niggas in the room. If you took out Maul and Rory and just rotated the niggas, like, would you really? Does he have a point? I mean, maybe.
And that's what he was saying the whole time.
You rotate 2 other niggas in. It's like black dude, white dude. All right.
Watch it. It's literally he had it because he went in for like 2 days, and he went in and he went in on Maul, especially Maul. He told Maul to stop tweeting and pick up a mic if Joe lets him. He said, "Ask Joe for 5 minutes."
That's tough.
But yeah, like it's just interesting seeing how they react. Because even Maul on Twitter today just went out. I'm just gonna talk about basketball and act like I don't know what's going on with Joe, which is what he seems to do all the time when Joe's in trouble, and act like that's not his best friend, even though he goes in these passionate rants against guys hitting women.
That's what I was crazy about. I'm like, how do you sit there and let Joe do this shit and talk all about it, especially after the Votto shit, and be like, we ain't condoning this shit? Your boy gets caught with not 1, but 2 allegations of abuse, and really 3 if you think about the dog. He didn't abuse 3 different people.
It's been more than that.
I was just in a recent couple of months, at least a couple of weeks. And so you got 3 cases of abuse on you right now that seem to be showing a pattern of behavior. And you just like, yo, man, NBA players is intense right now. Nigga, what?
But it's really funny, though, because everything that Maul says, like, I don't hang with niggas that do this, I don't hang with niggas that do that. Like, Joe is that.
He's that nigga. Like, he's like, that guy.
You listen to the phone call with him and Cyn, Maul said, I don't hang with niggas who take care of their kids. And all she talked about how, when the phone call is how he doesn't send money. He doesn't take it.
He don't send money because he's trying to get it from Spotify, guys. Come on. Doesn't have any. He's trying to get that $250 that he gonna chop her out.
Yeah,
he gonna get it.
He didn't kick her out the house. Like it's bad. It's bad for Joe right now. It's gonna be interesting to see how he responds to this, because for some reason people think because he speaks loud and yells and talks angry that he's making points when normally he doesn't.
Oh, he gonna skate on it. The fact that he skated on the Tahiri thing and then this came out, they gonna clown him off the whole dog shit because nigga, that's just funny. Like, that's not going nowhere. But like, other than that,
I bet he doesn't mention that dog thing.
You don't think he gonna mention it? I think with the podcast out, he gotta mention it. He got like,
I feel like that's his character to mention something like that. He's a goofball who says dumb shit.
You think he gonna cop to it? He gonna be like, I did it one time, so the fuck what? Like, is he gonna cop to it? Or is he gonna be like, it was a joke, guys? Come on, kidding.
I'm pull a clip. I'm rooting for Screaming.
Yeah.
This.
Can't, like, it's stuff because you know the crazy thing is, all the stuff that he's been accused of doing that he claims he didn't do, he said at some point, either in a song or on a podcast, that he's done it. That's what I don't understand. Like, why
he has the weakest case in court. I never did that, Your Honor. But you hear on 4 songs saying you did. Well, that was a joke. the whole break into Tahiri ribs thing. It's like he's literally said on a song he broke her ribs. It's like he said in the song, "I hit you like a man. I broke her ribs," or something like that. Like, and then he said, "I never touched her." So it's like, which one is it? She lying? Like, I mean, apparently he's gonna try to play that game. I know you right now. He should never came at Spotify. They found all his shit. Put his shit on Front Street.
You coming up there and asking for an insane offer, and then acting like I'm wrong for not giving it to you.
Like Spotify, I'm a big show ass real quick. Just you watch. Find these court cases. We got good lawyers. Gonna find all of these records. Oh man, Joe.
Man, those court, like you read those court docs, it's like this is.
Oh, I'm gonna go through those later.
It's a disturbing individual. He's disturbed.
Well,
he pioneered everything though, so it's good.
Right, pioneered the podcast.
Pioneered podcast.
The dog jerk off.
First guy to have a show on YouTube.
Ever. First YouTube show ever.
I don't even know what the fuck this Joe Budden TV shit even is.
Yeah, it's like, dude. And he keeps calling himself, and the other thing, like he keeps calling himself a creative, and he hasn't created anything. It's like, what's your idea? Like, what's something that you did that's different than anybody else? Oh, I'm going to revolt and do my same podcast with a different set of people.
Cornier.
Right, cornier. I'm going to do it with a new black, Remy, and another girl. Like,
oh, not a new black. A new black?
Yeah, what's her name? Jinx? Is her name Jinx?
New black. I thought we made a whole podcast without coming at the new blacks.
New blacks. The new blacks.
Yeah, the new blacks will believe they'll believe Joe or the Hoteps. The Hoteps are going to come out and say, "Well, Spotify did this because he was trying to buy Spotify."
They love that shit. That's their favorite line. He was about to
black sex.
Well, people don't know.
I might have to do one every week.
See what they've done this week.
The new black segment. Yeah, I'm with it. New black segment.
They do something every week that amazes me.
That's fair.
Yes, but I don't know if you guys got anything else that I don't.
Yeah, I think we got some good stuff. I think we're good.